All right, we are live. September 24th. There is a barn burner of a beautiful game of football going on right now. We've got Giants versus Redskins on Thursday night. Alex, this is a high-scoring game at the Forum, right?
Oh, this is so much fun. I love watching these two teams.
They're your two favorite. I mean, you couldn't ask for more exciting football. Honestly, I think there might be a high school game going on nearby that's even better. Don't forget to mute your YouTube. You know what, Alex? Actually, I have a funny story. My girlfriend saved me money this week. I had a lineup ready to go and entered for a Thursday night league, and I was going to be real sneaky. I was playing like Larry Donnell. I was playing like like a Matt Jones, and she interrupted me as I was about to like submit the lineup, and I never actually put it in. So the moral of the story here, I think, is that girlfriends save you from making stupid decisions, right?
Yep, that would have been disastrous.
Yeah. And you know what else? Anybody who plays a Thursday lineup is getting beat by the Joker who plays Josh Brown. Josh Brown is like fantasy MVP, right?
But I on FanDuel I wouldn't play Thursday lineups because it's you have to just lock in your lineup on a Thursday, which is terrible for FanDuel. It doesn't allow you to change. But on DraftKings, I actually like playing on Thursdays because you can still change your lineup, and a lot of people just like watching their players on television. So if they're gonna play Thursday players, I like to put in Thursday lineups without Thursday players. So that's the only way I'll play a Thursday game.
Yeah, I typically do too. Sometimes I'll play a Thursday game with the intention of being really sneaky, like a Larry Donnell, right? Like I thought maybe he could be a sneaky play. We're not going to have a repeat of last year's 3-touchdown performance on Thursday night, but against a very bad Redskins secondary, I could see him maybe doing something. Maybe not.
Oh, this game is painful.
How many field goals have they kicked? We got a bunch of field goals and safeties, okay? And that's about it.
5 field goals, a safety, and an Andre Williams touchdown.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, this is a funny story. I woke up this morning. I had a dream last night. In my dream told me that I should start Duke Johnson this week, okay? So I immediately benched Rashad Jennings. And I don't laugh at me, okay? This is a true story. Dude, I immediately found my lineup. Look, my running backs in this league, this is the league, if you remember, that I drafted while I was texting you, and I had I wasn't really in the best frame of mind to be drafting. And I ended up with like 5 wide receiver ones and like no running backs. Like my running backs are David Johnson, Amir Abdullah, Duke Johnson, and Rashad Jennings. And that's it. Like it's just a wasteland.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Tough. But I had a not football but fantasy draft related dream, but it's too long and we're not going to get into it. So that's weird.
When you start having dreams that you should be playing Duke Johnson in your lineup, like that's kind of where I feel like I need to draw the line,
I mean, yeah, like you can't keep yourself from having those dreams though. Like that's the other problem.
Right. Duke Johnson is invading my dreams. Get out of my head, Duke.
It's like when the league was good and Ruxin used to have like the lineup Nirvana.
I got to be totally honest. I never watched the league because I feel like the moment I start watching it, it's just going to remind me way too much of my life. And I don't know if
the first few seasons maybe, and especially because it's also in Chicago.
Okay. I might check it out. That's the problem though, is like, so like I'm from Chicago area. And like, I feel like the moment I turn on the league, it's just going to be like looking at myself in the mirror. And I'm really terrified of which character I'm going to be because I'll probably be one of them and I'll probably be the shitty one, Like I'll be the guy who offers way too many trades and like calls you like 3 a.m.
As long as you're not Andre, don't worry about it. All right, we got it. Let's get going.
Okay, tonight we're playing Who's Your Bay, right?
Yay, my favorite.
As you guys can see, I'm everyone's Bay. Now look, the reason I put that tagline up actually is so that people know what the hell we're talking about. Bay is B-A-E. It's slang for like babe, all right?
No, false. Bay is actually abbreviation for best at everything.
Okay, well, you see, this is the problem. So
people use it as that's the thing. Like that's what it actually is. People like dumb people use it as oh my god instead of like they use it as bay instead of like boo kind of thing.
So that's why I was giving that explanation, Alex, because like I being sort of old, I don't really know entirely what bay is. But our idea of who's your bay is like who do you love, right? Who's the guy who you're using in a lot of lineups? Who's the guy, if we look at guys on the same tier, the same cash tier, that you're using? right?
Correct. Absolutely. OBJ just caught a touchdown.
Oh, well, at least something good is happening. Hey, speaking of which, I have him in our Dynasty League. He's pretty much saving my, proverbial ass in that league.
Yeah, I don't care about that league at all.
So Who's Your Bay is a game we invented to discuss guys of similar price, typically who you might consider similar tiers, similar production. And it's a game we invented to sort of compare. Okay, so this is a compare and contrast game. And we have some names that we want to talk about. But in the meantime, if there's anybody who you want to know if this person is your bay, if you have a bay, you can feel free to tweet us. You've got Alex's Twitter there. It's at Alex Hanowitz. You've got my Twitter. It's at PKaraganis. You can tweet us somebody who you want us to talk about, somebody who you think is your bay, and, we'll do our best not to make fun of you too much.
And if you are in the chat and if you're live watching if you're watching live and in the chat, you can ask us. We'll answer some of those at the end of the show also.
Right. Okay, so let's start off with the game. First of all, we're going to talk about, Alex, can you explain what we mean when we say cash game?
Okay, so cash game, safer picks. Like you want them to reach 3 times their salary. So let's say somebody's 5,000, you want them to get at least 15 points.
Right. So, for example, our first name we're going to start off with a quarterback. Your first bay, Alex, your first bay is Andrew Luck, who's been sort of miserable so far. What's going on there?
But he's playing the Titans, so I don't care. We had a brief conversation about this on Tuesday. Like, he just went from playing the Bills and the Jets. He's going to be mad, and he's going to lead this offense against the Titans in a very, very pissed off manner.
Right, and it's his first AFC South game as well. I remember there was
12-0 in the last 2 years in the AFC South, so
just dominated the division. So his price right now on DraftKings, I've got him at 7,900. You like him for a solid 24 points this week?
Easy. 300, 3 scores, bare minimum, I think, in my opinion.
Who gets the touchdowns? Who's he throwing to?
Moncrief gets at least 1. I don't know who the other 2 go to.
So Luck on the same tier, okay? We got to look at the same tier because as we talked about, it's a compare contrast, right? Who's your bay? We've got A-Rod at 8,000, Brady at 7,700 against Jacksonville, a very pissed off Tom Brady. To save yourself the $200 and play Brady, what say you?
I would rather play Luck this week in a cash game because that game could get out of control very quickly and they might just run the ball. Brady might only throw 15 passes this week after he just threw 60. Or 50, whatever it was.
Brady gets his and then gets out, right? And there's not much upside there. Is that what you're saying?
There is upside, definitely. I think Brady might be a better tournament play. But in a cash game, I don't trust Belichick in a game like this where – also, this is one of those games where they always look like they're playing so great and then they come into like this type of trap game and they just lay a dud and win like 19-17. And Brady has no touchdowns. So Either way, I'd rather play Luck because he's going to come out pissed off and he's going to score some points.
Okay, fair enough. I will say, though, Brady has those dashing good looks. Luck sort of looks like the guy you'd stand by the keg at the party, no?
Well, yeah, he's a goofball. I love it.
I don't know if he's Bay material, but okay.
For this, yeah, he is. He's Bay.
Bay material, okay. All right. Andrew Luck, Bay material #1. The next name here I actually love. I think this is a great name. In fact, it was the only player last week who pretty much won me my lineups. We talked on Tuesday about the Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald stack, right? But here you've got him again, even though his price has gone up a little bit. Carson Palmer, let me find him. Where is he? 6,600. If I recall correctly, he was, 65 last week, 64, that range?
Yeah, he was not too expensive and he went off.
All right, so for a cash game, Carson Palmer you think is safe play. What do you like about him?
They are throwing the ball extremely efficiently. He's got weapons that are going to get touchdowns, and the 49ers just got lit up by Roethlisberger.
All right, so for quarterbacks, what I'm going to do here is let me look within a $500 range, and I'm going to try to make a good argument for other players in that range. See how quickly you can smack me down with my nonsense, okay?
I will do my best.
The first one is super easy, so I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to give you my best shot right out of the gate, okay, which is probably stupid.
Okay.
But I'm going to say, going with the Bears are terrible theory, okay? Carson Palmer, 6,600 for $400 more dollars at 7,000. You can get Russell Wilson. In fact, I'll tell you already, one of my lineups this week, I've got a Wilson Jimmy Graham stack. If you remember my text, Bears can't guard big receivers, right? Graham's a big receiver.
I get it.
And I've got a Wilson Doug Baldwin stack. And I love that one in a PPR FanDuel format. What about Russell Wilson? Even in a cash game, his rushing is going to have a nice floor. You know what? I'm going to be totally honest with you. Russell Wilson is my babe this week.
You have fun. I'm going to take Carson Palmer throwing the ball where they're still trying to pretend like Chris Johnson is a running back. So they're going to have to throw the ball a lot on second and third down. And Marshawn Lynch is going to take away all of your points. So I'm going with Carson in a cash game.
All right. Well, my bae in the same cash game is Russell Wilson because when we talk about cash game, we've got a floor, right? And the rushing yards are going to get you a floor. Same thing for Cam Newton. Cam Newton only $200 more, 6,800, going up against New Orleans. New Orleans just made Tampa Bay look like, help me out here, the 85 Bears. No, the 85 Bears, they were good, but they couldn't score. He made them look like the 2007 Patriots. What about Cam Newton going up against New Orleans for 6,800? Cam's my bae.
I like Cam in a tournament. I'm not touching him in cash. Because who are they playing? They're playing New Orleans.
Yeah.
At home, I feel like they run the ball a lot at home, even though they're not good at running the ball apparently this season. But
did you mean to say Cam runs the ball a lot at home?
No, they as a team. I didn't say.
I know, but did you mean to say Cam runs the ball a lot at home?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. He's too volatile for me for a cash game, regardless of the matchup. He'll have those 30-plus point games, and then he'll have a 10-point game. So I wouldn't play him in a cash game, I think, ever, even if the matchup was good.
There's one fantasy league this year where I'm top in the league. It's a 12-team league, and I drafted.
Don't tell me you have Cam Newton as your starting quarterback.
I drafted him by accident, okay? It was an auction draft, and there's a couple of guys in the draft who just love Cam Newton. Like, he's legitimately, he's their bae, okay? Like, really. And I thought, okay, I'm going to throw in just a $1 bid. Okay, so it was at $1. I bumped it up to $2. I'm like, somebody's going to – I'm just trying to bump up the bid, right? Get them to waste their money. I got Cam Newton in an auction league for $2. And he's been money. He's been really good.
We've been through 2 weeks, Pete. Calm down. Don't worry. He'll blow up in your face soon enough. Don't worry.
You know what?
I love Cam as a quarterback. From a fantasy perspective, he will blow up in your face.
Why do you have to do that? You just crush my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like
you crush my hopes and dreams.
I'm trying to help out our viewers. B, no. That's it. Like I'm not. Cam is not cash game material.
Okay, so you're standing firm with Carson Palmer. You're saying Palmer don't spend the extra 200 for Cam, don't spend the extra 400 for Russell Wilson. Palmer at 6,600, you like?
Palmer at 6,600, I love.
You know, here's one argument actually that I really will just before we move on. Here's something that I would say is really in Palmer's favor. If you look directly below him, right? So let's say you got 66, 6,700 and you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback for below that price. Palmer 66, Romo 6,400. Moment of silence for Tony Romo. Okay. Phillip Rivers 6,400.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but I'm playing Palmer, right?
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford's ribcage 6,300.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you know what? Hey, let's over/under. What's the over/under on how many times Stafford gets hit real hard this weekend?
It's got to be 10.5.
What are we putting that at? 10.5?
I'm taking. Yeah, you have to take the over.
I was going to say I'm taking the over. So okay, all right, 10.5.
They're playing the Broncos. Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware are going to get after that ass. Okay,
fab budget, because I did this week. How much would you spend on the Broncos this week? Fab budget.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't –
if you need a defense. My defense was mediocre at best. Have you seen their schedule? It's nasty.
I mean, I would probably do 10%.
Okay, so here's their upcoming schedule.
I'm also somebody that doesn't really, need to play the waivers.
Yeah, I mean, true. So you're
Like,
saying that means you can spend more on a defense, in other
yeah,
words.
if you feel pretty confident about your team, you don't really need to spend as much. Like I'm not somebody that I haven't made like one or two like trendy week one or two pickups. Like I'm not the guy that's picking up Travis Benjamin or things like that. Like I'm saving my money. Might not even use my entire budget during the course of a year just because there's no need.
Yeah, I'm in general, I'm in agreement with you. I'm bringing this up actually because the Broncos are sort of my bay on defense this week. But real quick, here's their upcoming schedule: Week 3 at Detroit, Week 4 home against Minnesota, Week 5. Here's where it gets real nice: at Oakland, Week 6 at Cleveland.
Yeah, they're set up.
It's gross. So anyway, I spent about 5% of my fat budget on defense, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably more accurate what you should spend on them. But yeah, can't really go wrong with that. That's probably just getting a little off. They're probably my cash game defense this week.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Palmer at 6,600. Here's a big argument in favor of Palmer. If you have exactly 6,600 left over and you're filling the quarterback spot, there's nobody below him who's better. There's nobody below him who you look
at. Definitely not in cash.
And I don't even think in a tournament. Maybe Tyrod Taylor at 58. Yeah.
Tyrod.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is the problem. We agree on too many things.
No, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, because Mark never agrees with me. He just kind of throws up things for me to spike it.
He's a Packers fan. You got to take him with a grain of salt.
This is true.
All right, so let's move on to running back. Cash game running back. Look, I couldn't agree more. Again, this is the problem. Can you put some names on here who I dislike?
All right, so okay, because we played this a little differently last year and last week. We kind of just throw out names and talk about people around them, like would we or would we not. So these aren't necessarily my plays. But these are definitely people that we need to discuss and talk about that we either like or don't like or are kind of divided on. But I do like this one, so set me up for him.
I do too. I mean, in fact, I've made, I think now 4 or 5 lineups. Le'Veon Bell at 7,500 is in almost all of them, if not all. You got to use him, right? You got to use him.
I mean, he's 25% less than what he probably cost the end of last year, coming off of not being injured. Well, I mean, he was injured last, but like he's not hurt. He's just coming back off a suspension. This isn't just like, oh, he's coming back off of this week. No, he's back. He's healthy. He's ready to roll. They need to use him. He's a stud. He's just gonna get usage because he's been chomping at the bit all off season, waiting for this week. This week has been circled on his calendar. Get him in your lineup.
Right, and in particular, we both of us liked the Rams defense in week 2. They disappointed us both. If you look at what Matt Jones and Alfred Morris just did to that front, how can you not want to play Bell? Right?
I don't understand that. Like, you shut down the Seahawks and you get beat by this awful organization that's losing to the Giants. No, thank you.
Is it possible that the Seahawks just aren't very good this year?
It is definitely possible. I think that I think between them and the Colts, one of them's not making the playoffs.
Well, if that's honestly the case, I think the Colts are in. You know why? The AFC South is terrible.
Yep,
right?
That's exactly my reasoning also.
Right.
It just has one of those feelings like it's going to be a different year, and we can finally have a new Super Bowl where somebody isn't returning.
And here's something else. I think that a fantasy mirage is going to happen because I think this week the Seahawks are going to just decimate the Bears.
Oh, well, that's not – we're not arguing about that.
But I think what's going to happen as a result of that,
people are going to think they're good again.
Right. People are going to feel good about the Seahawks. People are going to use them in DFS. People are going to overvalue them in regular fantasy leagues, and they're simply not that good. But the reason I bring that up is because, okay, who's your bay? Le'Veon Bell, 7,500. There's a very legitimate argument to be made here that Marshawn Lynch against the Bears, in fact, you just made this argument yourself. You said Russ Wilson's going to lose his TDs. Marshawn Lynch against the Bears, they're going to be up They're gonna. You can run all over the Bears. You can run all over the Bears.
This one's so hard for me. Just really.
Yes. Lynch at 74. What do you do? What do you do in a cash game? You play them both?
I'm kind of leaning that way right now, honestly, a little bit. Like, I never spend up at running back, but these two matchups, oh my god.
Okay, I have an idea. Are you ready? Mark would not allow us to do this, so that's exactly why it's going to be a good idea. Pretty much that's how I'm hosting the show. So Mark.
Right, so by the way, just for the viewers, it's Mark's birthday today, so I texted him, and he texted when he responded. He was like, "I watched the show. I loved how everything you started before everything you said because Mark's here." And then went on to say something ridiculous. So please, let's continue that trend today because Mark loved it, but hated it at the same time.
See, that's exactly how like Mark is on vacation in Mexico with his wife for his birthday. He's so worried that we're going to screw this up royally. He's watching the show and texting us about it. Okay. So let's do a Mark's birthday lineup. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Let's do a live lineup on the air using Le'Veon Bell and Marshawn Lynch, okay?
All right, so we can't afford Lux. We have to go Carson.
Right, so this is a cash game lineup.
Wait, can we do this at the end after we do the rest of the?
Yeah, so that way we can fill. Well, hold on. Let's keep it. Let's go throughout the show. Our cash game lineup, we have Bell and Lynch and Palmer.
Okay.
Now let's put a wide receiver.
And Broncos D, because just put Broncos D in there.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and slot them in too. So let me slot them in, and then I'm gonna give you a live update on where we are with our budget. Okay.
Well, I like this game. This is fun.
I like this too. So this is Hoosier Bay live lineup edition. Let me put the Broncos in. The hell are the Broncos? Okay. We have average remaining salary per player. We got to fill a tight end, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. We got $25,500 left. That's $5,100 a spot in a cash game lineup.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. And keep in mind, we've already got Carson Palmer as our quarterback, Le'Veon Bell, and Marshawn Lynch. By the way, if you're out there watching the show and you use this lineup in the Millionaire Maker and you win, you better I want an Audi A8, okay? I want a black Audi A8 with tan leather interior. Just remember that.
We got to cut.
Yeah. Is that legal? Can we do that? Yeah. All right. Moving along. Keeping the show on not totally off the rails. You have Devontae Freeman here as a cash game running back. There was a report today. Yeah, you do.
I put him in as the tournament, and if I didn't, my bad.
Should we skip him?
I'm in Mark's email. Can you send me over the chat the names because I'm in Mark's email now.
Strictly professional here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We are on top of our stuff in Mark's email.
It's Thursday night. We're watching football. Deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me send you the names again here. There was a report today. What I was going to say is, I don't know if you saw it. Tevin Coleman may try.
That's why I wanted to talk about him, because Tevin might play, and you can't put Devontae Freeman in a cash game anymore. You just can't do it.
This is where if we had a cooler show, I would press a button that says like "Badass of the Week," Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, right. Broken ribs. Nah, I'm good. Let's roll.
That's some diehard stuff right there. That's straight out of
Basically, he realizes how bad the Cowboys are right now. He's like, this is payday. I gotta play. Payday.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, complete aside, random nonsense here. I just saw in chat somebody is talking about using Nick Foles this week.
Yo, don't hate it.
I'm actually on board. Can we put him on the GPP list, please?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna say something. Oh, go ahead.
They have one of the higher team totals of the week at 23, and they're only 1.5 point underdogs to the Steelers at home. I think they're in St. Louis, right?
Yes, Pittsburgh.
I think they play better at home. I think I'm hoping week 2 is a mirage, because if they're that as bad as they were against the Redskins, they're in trouble. But let's just all say a prayer and hope that Brian Quick is in the lineup for Nick Foles, because if he is, then it's going to be a great day for Nick Foles. If he's not, it still could be okay, but it won't be as good.
Yeah, so here's what I was going to say. Well, you know what? Let's save it for the GPP. Okay.
Let's do that.
We got to talk about wide receivers. I'm also going to save Devontae Freeman for the GPP unless you have a complaint about that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I put him in the wrong list. It's my bad.
Okay. So cash game, we've got wide receivers. We've got two here. The first one is Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall currently is going at 6,200 on DraftKings. Some similar names we've got. I'm gonna go up all the way to 6,600 where I see Mike Evans.
Go for it.
400. I've got Jarvis Landry. So let's just start with those two.
One at a time.
All right, let's start with Mike Evans. What do you think about Mike Evans? And here's my argument.
Goose egg, done.
Goose, too risky for a cash game?
Yeah, goose egg. Like that.
Okay.
That's the only. That's it. 2 words. Goose egg. That's it. I know he's not on a pitch count this week, but goose egg.
Okay, no. So Evans is too risky. That's your argument, correct? Right?
Yeah, you can if you want to play him in a tournament. Tons of upside. ASJ's out, but cash game, goose egg.
What about Landry? The exact opposite play of Evans. Very steady, lots of catches. 6,400, only $200 more than Marshall.
I'm not gonna play him over Marshall this week because they're playing Buffalo. If it wasn't Buffalo, it would be a lot closer. But no Eric Decker. There's no corner that's going to cover Brandon Marshall on Philly. Ivory is, again, questionable game time decision for week 3. Marshall is going to be game planned, and he looked so good on Monday night. He's not only my bay this week in cash games, he's my bay in real life right now.
Yeah, actually, I have to agree. I'm very happy in the leagues where I drafted Brandon Marshall. I had this sneaky feeling like with Geno Smith not playing, I mean, okay, I can just pause right there, right? I don't need to finish that sentence. You get where I'm going?
Yeah.
All best receivers. I have Decker on a few teams. I'm happy in both of those situations. But Landry catches a lot of balls. And
Landry's a great cash play, but I think this week Brandon Marshall just has a sky-high floor and a sky-high upside.
Okay, especially with Decker out, I can buy that.
Decker out, Ivory questionable, no tight end. It's him and my boy Quinoa.
Well, let's stack him up then. Let's stack him up this way. $400 cheaper. You want to talk about a low floor?
Keep going with Brandon. Keep going with Brandon.
No. I'm sticking with Brandon. I want to compare him to Larry Fitzgerald.
No, like keep going with like names against Brandon.
Larry Fitzgerald, $400 cheaper. We're playing him with Palmer. Okay. He's looks really good. I mean, he looks revitalized in this offense. He looks like his role he is the number one. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Let's get the $400 and play Fitz.
You definitely can play Fitz, but again, I'm just this week based on everything that's surrounding both players. I'm taking Marshall because Fitzgerald has more competition for targets.
It's very fitting we're talking about Fitzgerald because
he won us money.
He won his money last week when we did the Fitz. Yeah, thank you, Larry. Can we send him a thank you card? Do you think he'd accept it? No,
I hope so.
When he was a rookie, okay, I've been in this league with my high school friends for like 15 years.
Okay,
I owned Fitz every single year. I was a huge Fitz fan when he came out of school. I owned him as a rookie. I would way overdraft. I would overdraft the hell out of him every single year.
So basically, he's your Julio.
He legitimately is my bay. Like, that's why I'm saying this is such an appropriate segment.
This is actually like bay. This is genuine bay versus bay. Like, we could actually like duke it out in a ring.
Right. That dead serious. Like, that's what's happening. But okay, so Fitz I think is reasonable.
Bay on bay violence.
I guess the argument would be probably in a cash game. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about QB wide receiver stacks in a cash game?
I like them. I'm okay with them. If they're like, remember, it's process over results. Last week I did a triple stack. I went with Breeze, Cooks, Coleman because they were favored. They were going to throw the ball. They were at home. That should have worked. It just didn't. Again, process over results. It didn't work out, but for the most part, it does. Like week 1, I had Bradford Matthews, and in another lineup I had Ryan Julio. Those work out great. In cash games, if you know a receiver is going to get the ball, chances are their quarterback's going to do pretty well with them, especially if it's a high-end quarterback.
I think it's a good strategic element to discuss, and I think our viewers probably are interested in that. because you think in a tournament scenario, a QB wide receiver stack is something you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to go for that upside. But in a cash game, you may be concerned, hey, what if he has a down week? I don't want to kill my whole lineup using this stack, right? But on the other hand, as you pointed out, if you know he's getting the ball, it makes sense.
Right.
So it is something that
it's not like it's not something you necessarily have to do. It's just something that I like to do personally, but I don't always do it. It's definitely not like you have to do this in the cat. No, absolutely not. It's more for tournaments, but like you can do it in cash game. If you believe in both players, do it. If they're both values, do it.
All right, for the sake of our live lineup here, so let's refresh the viewers here. We've got Carson Palmer. This is our cash game live lineup. We decided to go ahead and play both Bell and Lynch. We've got an average of $5,100 a player left. We sticking in Brandon here? I think we stick him in.
Absolutely sticking him in.
Let's put him in. So we've got Palmer, Le'Veon Bell, Marshawn Lynch, Brandon Marshall. Let's talk about our wide receiver 2. I believe he's only 4,300, so he fits our needs perfectly here. Stevie Johnson is your bay this week. Tell me why.
We talked about this a lot on Tuesday. Until he stops getting targets and until he's more than $5,000, he is locked and loaded in both my lineups.
Right. I think that the key with Johnson is that his catches alone, his targets and catches alone, we talk about floor in a cash game, right? So his catches alone give him a very enticing floor. What do you see his upside as, though?
Upside is 25 plus points, 8 catches, 80 yards a score, something along those lines.
That sounds about right to me. And at 4,300, one thing you said, you want to get triple your money.
If he breaks one, like if he gets one of those short passes but breaks it, he has a chance to go like 7 for like $130.
Yeah.
That's more tournament upside. Like I'm not expecting that from him, but you're gonna get like 15 points from Stevie Johnson this week. I don't think I like it's either 7 for 80, something along those lines, or less than that with a touchdown.
Right.
Rivers wants to throw him and Woodhead the ball. It's just it's a fact.
One of the things that you brought up earlier in the show is you said you want to get triple your money, right? Stevie Johnson, to get triple your money right now, he only needs to put up 13 points. He needs to put up 12.9 points, right? Yeah. That's 5 catches for 70 yards.
Yeah, you need like as far as this lineup we have going, like you need Luck, Le'Veon, and Marshawn to put up their points. But if they don't, Stevie's going to supplement them. He's going to put up more than his 3x value, and he's going to help you.
Okay, so are we locking in Stevie?
I'm locking in Stevie.
Okay, so we've got Carson Palmer, Le'Veon Bell, Marshawn Lynch, Marshall, and Stevie Johnson. We are out of wide receivers on our list, but let's find somebody. We need a bay here. We've got
put Fitz in. I'm okay with you putting Fitz in. Put
Fitz in? Okay, that's going to really hurt our budget, but I'll put him in. We'll go with the Palmer Fitz stack. So we now have $9,200. That's $4,600 for a tight end, $4,600 for a flex, or we can chop it up, of course. So let's move on to our tight end. Let's take a look at the tight ends we're looking at this week. You've got Eric Ebron listed here. That's an interesting name. So going up against Denver, we're going to play this tight end against our own defense. Tell me why.
Garbage time touchdown. Garbage time fun time.
Garbage time.
He's gotten a garbage time touchdown past 2 games. When Stafford can't get the ball to Johnson or Tate, he's going to throw the ball to Ebron. We talked about this on Tuesday. He has the exact amount of points both weeks, 15.3. And 15.3, that's basically almost 5x value. If he gets a touchdown, he's basically already hitting value.
Right. So Eric Ebron, just to clarify, is only at 3,300. I look around, though, at the 3,300, and I see a couple names that I just have to throw up against your bay. Are you ready?
Go do one. Give me 2 minutes.
What's that?
Give me 2 minutes. You talk. Do one of your bay. I'll come back and I'll retort.
Okay, fair enough. Then I'm going to save the first name I was going to throw out there. So Alex is taking a little break, and Mark is not here. So let's talk about, we've got 3,300. The name I'm going to throw at Alex, by the way. Nope, he's still there. I'm not going to say it. Let's start with Vernon Davis at 3,200. You're done already?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Well, then I'm going right into my bay. Kyle Rudolph, 3,300. I bet he gets a
All right,
touchdown.
first of all, no. You're not allowed to call him your bay. Ever. Never. Like, that's not your – no. I'm not allowing it. You can bring him up as somebody for me to talk about. He's not your bay. You hate Kyle Rudolph. Like,
So for those of you who missed it, I'm mercilessly –
you cannot call him your bay. You're not allowed.
Okay, so Kyle Rudolph, someone else's bay.
Fine.
At $3,300, San Diego, one thing they do is they defend the wide receiver pretty well. I can see in a home game, I can see Teddy Bridgewater hooking up with him in the end zone. I think he's actually a pretty safe play this week. He's had 5 catches in both of his first 2 games. There's 5 points right there. You tack on 60 yards and a score. That's a hell of a deal at $3,300.
Yeah, it's great. I'm okay with you playing either. It's the same price anyway, so it's really preference at that point. Me personally, this week, Ebron, just because of the extra garbage time, and we'll see what happens in San Diego, Minnesota. That has more of like an even feel type of game to it.
Right.
I know Ebron's getting the ball in garbage time.
Okay, legitimate question. Two legitimate questions. Question 1. Can Matt Stafford right now throw the ball more than 15 yards?
Oh, man, I don't think so. But I don't think Ebron needs the ball
From
15 yards to do any of that.
Legitimate question number 2. Does Matthew Stafford finish the game this week?
Oh, I don't think so. I really don't.
So who's going to run the ball in garbage time?
Take your pick. It's either going to be Vaughn or Ware that just knocks him, just cold cocks him.
Okay, so you know what that means? That means we're locking in Kyle Rudolph. We're locking in Kyle Rudolph to our lineup, Alex. No, not really.
I feel like Orlovsky could even get him the ball. I feel like they had a little bit of time together last year when Ebron was dealing with his struggles. It was probably like one of the only good receivers he had to throw the ball to last year.
You know what just happened, actually? I hovered my mouse pointer over Kyle Rudolph and tried to click the green plus to add him, and it wouldn't do it. Like, this skull came up on my screen, and I got a little shock in my fingertip.
Good.
It's like I guess I'm no longer allowed to ever play Kyle Rudolph again in my life.
That's
my
fine.
Computer,
if you want to play Kyle Rudolph, you have to send me money, and I have to put a lineup in for you.
I guess so. I mean, I thought this was just a pretty straightforward computer that I purchased here, but apparently not. Okay. So let's see. Let's take a look. I'm going to go with Ebron. So to update our live lineup, that gives us Carson Palmer, Le'Veon Bell, Marshawn Lynch, Brandon Marshall, Stevie Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, Eric Ebron, and the Broncos defense.
And we have some money left over.
We do. We need a flex, and we've got 5,900 to play with for our flex.
This is the first. We don't know who we're going to pick at this point.
Right. So for those of you who are watching the show, it may seem as if our entire show is completely unscripted and we really have no idea what we're doing.
Because it kind of is sometimes.
Pretty accurate. But believe it or not, we do send each other a list of names and some general ideas as to who to talk about. We don't have one for the flex. So we're going to kind of wing it here. Alex, 5,900. Here are the names. I'm going to read you.
Dude, I'm looking at the list right now. I'm like, I want to throw up a little bit.
I want to spend another $100 and get a Macklin. How about you?
No, I don't even want to do that.
Well, you know who my bay is on this list?
Well, we can go. We don't have to spend. All right, this is another thing. You don't have to spend all the money if you have a good lineup construction like the one we've made.
Right, which I think is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's solid.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you who I would play if we didn't have Marshawn Lynch. I would play Jimmy Graham and not even think twice. Now, I know
play Jimmy Graham. If you want to play Jimmy Graham, you can play him. Oh, because you don't want both? I get it. Never mind.
Yeah. I don't want to add him with Lynch. I don't want to play.
It's so weird thinking about Marshawn and Jimmy Graham on the same team. I can't get over that. And also no to Jimmy Graham ever. I don't like him in this offense. I don't.
Me neither, but you know why I want to.
No, I know why. It's because big targets, Bears, got it.
I'm a self-hating Bears fan, okay? So anybody against the Bears, you put him in your lineups. But let's rule him out because I don't like using a running back plus a primary receiving target in a cash game especially. So there's a name that I like between 5,000 and 5,900. I'm gonna save it though. Give me your bay between 5,000 and 5,900. Who is it?
Between those, not those.
Yeah,
It's a cash game play.
as a cash game play.
Kelsey.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, of course, because he is Bay. He is Bay. I love him. He's safe. They're going to be losing. Alex Smith has to throw him the football. It just because I wouldn't normally play him in a cash game, but as a flex, considering the other options, gotta play him. There's nobody I would pick over him other than Allen Robinson, and the only reason I wouldn't do Allen Robinson is because 1.6 points versus 155 and 2 scores. So too much variance for me. Plus the Patriots.
The Patriots can be thrown on. The Patriots.
They absolutely can be thrown on. But
all right, I'm gonna give you two names against your Travis Kelce Batum.
Okay.
Although I feel like, given the title of the show and the topic, we probably have to use Kelce, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, fine. We have to. Does that make you feel better?
It does. All right. So here's my two I'm throwing against you. You ready? Okay. Vincent Jackson.
No.
Why not?
No.
He's actually been fairly consistent. He's been
fairly value or just consistent.
What's that?
Consistent value or consistent, just consistent?
Well, given his price, I would have to argue both.
No, he had 9.1 points with a 6K and 14.5 for 5.5. He hasn't hit value yet, and his price is going down. So, no, thank you.
Okay, here's the second one, which I also think, again, an argument can be made either way.
Well, wait, I want to hear your argument for Vincent Jackson.
Just
curious. Just viewers don't play Vincent Jackson, but let's hear Pete explain this one.
No ASJ. Obviously, we saw that last week, and look what he did.
Right.
I'm assuming Mike Evans is going to take a step forward this week. I think as a whole, their offense is going to be better this week. I think this is it's Houston, but I think it's a better matchup than some people think. I think this is a sneaky, high-scoring game.
Okay. Sneaky, high-scoring game does not equal cash play.
No, you're right. And you know what else, though? You're also correct. He hasn't hit value, and that's sort of a problem. Okay, here's another one I like, though. Similar vicinity, and I can tell your argument already.
Well, also, by the way, just to be clear, just because he hasn't hit value doesn't mean
he won't.
But, I don't like him to do it. And part of the reason why is because he hasn't been able to do it with being at least the number 1 or number 2 option in both games.
Here's a name, and I can sense your argument already, but I'm going to make a counterpoint. Kendall Wright, 5,000.
Nope.
Why not?
Mariota's not a good quarterback. I'm going to say that for as long as I have to. I don't trust him. He's not very good. I mean, the only reason you could say it is garbage time, fun time, but
no, I have a couple of good reasons.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
The biggest one is the matchup. He's playing the Colts at home. Who's playing cornerback for the Colts?
Nobody, but
I think I could maybe play cornerback for the Colts right now.
Yeah, but Mariota is not a good quarterback.
Well, that's why I like Wright, because he's not a good quarterback, and Wright handles the underneath stuff. He plays out of the slot. He's the one guy that a rookie quarterback who's not really that great can hit, and can hit consistently, and can take one to the house, as he showed in week 1.
Yeah, and you know what he did last week?
They're going to be behind. Garbage time, fun time.
Do you know what he did last week in a lot of garbage time, fun time?
Put up a huge dud. Yeah, so not a cash game play is your argument, right?
No, it's not a cash game play.
All right, so we're going to lock in Kelce?
We can play around a little bit lower. You just asked me who I would play in that range.
Right. Well, if I look lower, I see Moncrief at 4,800. We talked about him on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think I got to go with Moncrief or Eifert. Well, no, I would go Kelce over Eifert, but I think I would go Moncrief over both, because I think he's going to get a touchdown. I genuinely think he has a good chance at 1 or more touchdowns this week. Hilton's still hurt. He essentially becomes the number 1 wide receiver.
I actually think that's fair. So we're between Kelce and Moncrief. I view them as sort of a push. I think well, we have to think about those because this is the cash game segment. We have to think about who's got the better floor. Moncrief or Kelsey? What do you think?
I gotta say this week it's Moncrief.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna lock him in. All right. So to recap, our final lineup here. So this is our cash game lineup of Who's Your Bay. We've got Carson Palmer, Le'Veon Bell, Marshawn Lynch, Brandon Marshall, Stevie Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald. Our tight end is Eric Ebron, and we're gonna flex Dante Moncrief. Now, what we're doing here, Alex, we're leaving $1,100 on the table.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little uncomfortable, but at the same time, it just feels so right.
Well, what I wanted to point out is
Upgrade fits if
we're
you.
$1,300 away from Andrew Luck.
Oh, you can't do that to me. Who are we gonna downgrade?
Well, can we find somebody at 4,600 and can get rid of Moncrief?
Let me look. Oh, I was
I see
like
pretty much nobody. I see Danny Woodhead at 4,400.
Ooh.
That could be an interesting lineup.
I'm okay with Danny, but there's nobody in that range that we can downgrade Fitz to.
So basically what it comes down to is, do we like Palmer plus Moncrief, or do we like Luck plus Woodhead?
Oh, man. I got to say Luck plus Woodhead.
I'm actually sort of leaning with that as well, leaning towards that as well.
But is there any tight end we can save a little money on?
We'd have to save $200, which means we'd have to drop from Ebron to
Play? Or your boy, Jared Cook.
Again, I just
listen, without Brian Quick, he's the leading receiver.
The number one, yeah. But do you see him as a cash play, really?
No, but if it means getting Andrew Luck over and getting rid of Ebron.
What else? Cook actually has been quite consistent. He's put up 11 points a week, which is right at that 3 times your money tier. He's at 2,800. Multiply that by 3. That's not
8 points from Jared Cook. He can get you 4 catches for 40 yards. If he catches a touchdown, it's basically value. I would rather do that. I would rather keep Moncrief, play Luck.
So we're playing a Moncrief Luck stack.
By the way, people, just so you know, like this is actually how we make lineups together.
Yeah.
We freak out a little bit. So
you're
witnessing us, and I'm genuinely using this lineup this week. So just to be clear,
I am too.
If you are mad about this not working, guess what? So are we.
Right. I am legitimately using this lineup. All right, so let's review because we actually made a lot of changes right there at the end. Our lineup that we're going to go with, we've got Andrew Luck at quarterback, Le'Veon Bell and Marshawn Lynch, running back 1 and 2. Brandon Marshall, Stevie Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald. Our receivers stay the same. We swapped out Eric Ebron for Jared Cook. We're flexing Moncrief, so we've got a Luck Moncrief stack. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, like I said, I'm down.
I think it's a good play. We've also got the Broncos defense that leaves us $300 left over, which I can live with eating $300.
Yeah, well, we saved $500 on the Cook downgrade, but yeah, you don't have to use to 0. I just, with 1,000 left on the table, I felt a little uncomfortable.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we are running a little behind. We're gonna do a lightning round of GPP plays. Okay, so we've got Who's Your Bay GPP. We've got 3 names on the list. Interestingly enough, 2 of them are Buffalo Bills.
We have 5 names on the list.
I only see 3.
You're missing.
Oh, I forgot Foles.
We already put one into our cash game lineup.
Right, I'm skipping, so I'm going to skip him if that's all right.
Well, let's just say Jared Cook has a lot of upside. You can also play him in a tournament. We're just fitting him into our cash game lineup to get who we want.
Right. Okay, so let's go through our GPP plays. Let's start with quarterbacks. You've got 2 interesting names here. I like them both, actually.
Yep.
Here's what I was going to say earlier. Somebody asked me this week, I do forum advice. Somebody asked me in an advice question, Drew Brees or Nick Foles? First, I had to think about it.
Well, season long. Are we talking season long or just this week?
Just this week. I actually answered after due consideration. I advised him to play Nick Foles over Drew Brees. Is that stupid?
You want to hear something worse than that?
Yes,
In my
please.
2-quarterback league this week, I am benching Tannehill for Nick Foles. I'm doing it.
So I think we're in agreement on this. Foles is a great
I'm
tournament play.
going. I got the safety in Matt Ryan. Tannehill scares me this week against the Bills, and again next week against the Jets. So I'm probably going to play Foles 2 weeks in a row.
So Foles right now is only at $5,200. Okay, he's averaging 15.5 points a game. So by the metric of you need 3 times your cash, he's pretty much hitting right on through 2 weeks. He's hitting that nail almost directly on the head.
But
what I like about Foles
big,
this week,
bad.
right? What I like about him this week is the matchup is fantastic, right? I mean Pittsburgh. Okay, the San Francisco game sort of got out of hand, but they couldn't stop anything the Patriots were trying to do. Neither could Buffalo, to be fair, and the Rams are not the Patriots. But the Rams playing at home have been good the past couple seasons. I like Foles. I think he's a very respectable play this week. What am I missing?
I mean, he crushed week 1, threw up a dud away, but at home he's fine. I think this game is going to be tighter. The Rams have a better offense than the Niners. I truly believe that. I hope to believe that. So I think it's either going to be they're going to keep pace with Pittsburgh or they're going to get a lot of garbage time. And I think Foles can do pretty well in garbage time. Also, if you want to play a Foles Cook stack and your defense costs around 3,000, let's say, because that's about where they cost, you have 39,000 to put it. 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex.
That's pretty sick.
That is sky high upside.
Yeah. So massive upside. We like a Foles Cook stack because of the upside, not because we think they're fantastic plays.
Right.
Okay, so let's check. Let's check the next name on the list. We got Tyrod Taylor. We talked about him a little bit at the beginning. Tyrod Taylor on DraftKings is at what?
58, I think.
58. You are right. Tyrod Taylor, 5,800. Not afraid of Miami's defense?
Did you see what Bortles did?
I did, but I mean, the argument could be made that's just
that's for. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Did you see what he did against the Patriots? Did you see how he casually dropped 15 and a half or almost 16 points in a game where he threw 19 passes? He's going to throw more than 19 passes. He guarantees you 4 to 5 points rushing the ball with upside for 80 and a score. It's all about upside. I keep saying this. He has Michael Vick upside. I'm waiting to see it. I will play him in one tournament lineup every week until he does his Michael Vick impression.
Okay, I think that's fair. I actually agree with you again. The bigger thing to me is there's nobody even remotely near his price that I would rather play. Ryan Fitzpatrick at 5,100, 700 below, I think is a good tourney play.
But he just doesn't have the same upside, not even close.
Right, exactly. I was about to say that exact same thing. Okay.
Especially with the potential for Ivory and Decker to both be out, or even one of the two. Like it. No, thank you. I love my Jets, but Fitz is. He had that one game last year.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that often.
Let's stick in the exact same game. I'm going to skip the running back for now. We'll come back to him. Sammy Watkins, you've got listed as a good play. You stacking him with Taylor? Is that the plan?
So what I meant to say earlier is, did you see what Allen Robinson did to the Miami defense? Yeah, I'm down. Did you see how open he was on his touchdown pass?
Yeah, that was not good.
Like that's Sammy Watkins. He was the #1 drafted wide receiver in the best wide receiver class any of us have ever seen.
Yeah.
He has talent. If he gets the ball, he's going to do a lot with it. And he's going to explode soon. He's very volatile in this offense because Tyrod and because of Rex, but he can go so high. He's so good. He can take a screen pass 90 yards, and he can catch anything. He can catch a ball 50 yards down. It doesn't matter. He can do everything as a wide receiver.
Watkins is at 6,100, right?
Yeah.
Watkins at 6,100, so a very reasonable. If you play him and Tyrod Taylor, you've only used not even 12,000, and that's an interesting stack. I actually like this call. I don't think It's definitely not a cash game play.
No.
It's definitely an upside play. I think there's a lot of upside to be had in this stack. I'll probably use it once, but I'm not confident enough in it to do it more than that.
No, absolutely. But I mean,
names around him. Jeremy Maclin, I think, has a good game this week. But
I don't think he has the same upside.
I was about to say, but maybe limited upside, right?
Because of Smith, he just doesn't. Plus, I mean, I can't even make that argument. I was going to say Kelsey takes away targets, but
actually, that is not true. Maclin leads the team in targets.
No, but I'm saying he takes away targets that Maclin should be getting, like the high value. Let's say we'll call them the high value targets.
This is why I named my team with Kelsey on it. Alex Hanowitz's girlfriends. Got Kelsey, Abdullah, Julio, and Matt Ryan.
And Parker.
Right. And Devontae Parker on the bench, right? So anytime you hear us talk about that, right? So we're in agreement on this. This is a good high upside play, not something you're going to use a ton, but a pretty good high upside play, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, circling back, let's hit the one running back that you have on the list this week, which I love the call, actually. So this is what we need Mark for.
Before you say it,
yeah,
I desperately want to play this guy in a cash game, but I can't.
Yeah, I think. Well, okay, if you look at the price, though, why not? He's been consistent at the price.
Because say his name and I'll say why.
Dion Lewis.
Bellatrix.
Yeah.
Because I know he likes him, and he fumbled. Ooh, touchdown.
Who scored?
Oh wait, the Giants might lose this game.
No.
It's getting close.
It's anyway. 32-14. That's not close. Or did I miss something?
They just took a punt back.
Seriously?
Swear to God. Or a kick. I don't know, one or the other. I'm not watching the game where
Ruben Randall just scored. I would like to say that's one of my better calls. I told somebody to play Randall this week over somebody good. Randall 7 for 116 and a score.
Yeah, that's not going to happen again for a while.
What's Odell Beckham's stat line? Can you tell?
Greg, tell me in the chat. We'll get it in a minute.
Okay. All right, guys, this is what happens when Mark's not here to keep us on track. We just start watching football and drinking beer.
Wait. Greg's so mad right now because I keep saying shit about the Giants. All right. Anyway.
Oh, wow. They did take it back.
Yeah.
Dude, if the Giants lose this game, okay.
Let's get back to Dion Lewis.
Hold on. If the Giants lose this game, the Bears are not the worst team in football.
Yeah, I know. Even
if the Bears get beat, if the Giants lose this game, the Bears are not the worst team in football.
Why are they? What are you doing? Go for 2. If they go for 2, they need a touchdown and a field goal. They're kicking a field goal. They're down 11. They need 2 touchdowns. Give me the logic in that. The Giants just won basically probably off a idiot move by Jay Gruden. So congratulations, the game's over.
Well, Jay Gruden was tutored in the subject of math by John Gruden. So I think that pretty much explains
the only math that John Gruden knows is Spider 2Y banana.
Right. Well, I think he also is aware that there are 6 beers in the 6-pack, right?
Yeah. Okay. Fair. So the 2.
He may get that wrong every now and then, but most of the time he's on board with that one.
The 2 math-related things in the world that John Gruden knows anything about are 6-pack of beer and Spider 2Y banana because the number 2 is in it.
Right. And he can count to 2 as well.
I think he can also count to 11 because he needs to.
People aren't watching. I just did 1, 2, 3 on my fingers. All right. So Dion Lewis, let's bring it back. Look, we just went way off track there. Like what?
Well, I mean, that's all right. This is what happens on Thursday nights when there's games on. Like I get distracted. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for it. I was about to, but I'm not. I'm not sorry.
I sort of feel the same. So let's talk about Dion Lewis a little bit though, because then I have to go. Dion Lewis, what did we say he's at? 4,200, right?
42 on DraftKings. I apologize to everybody that does FanDuel. I play DraftKings more. I actually don't ever play on FanDuel, so I don't really know the prices offhand. It's just kind of DraftKings is easier for me. So just look it up. We're talking about them anyway.
Alex and I both play DraftKings more. I do play FanDuel. Tonight we're doing heavy DraftKings.
All right. This is why I don't play FanDuel. I cannot, just by my code, I cannot put money into a lineup, including a kicker.
On a kicker.
Dude, my dynasty league that I started this season, I took the kicker out. And nobody's upset about it.
How angry are you when something like this happens and Josh Brown scores 30 points, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, if you listen to the show, we love FanDuel too. I play on it. Mark plays on it. We hate kickers. So, if you're listening to the show, that means you're taking the extra step to try to do well. You want to eliminate as much luck, as much chance as you can from the game. You want to take out
the epitome of luck.
What's that?
Kickers are the epitome of luck every week.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if you have all this information, if you're going the extra mile to learn something about daily fantasy sports and to try to put this advice and information to use, why are you playing on a site that uses kickers?
The only reason I like playing in leagues with kickers, season long only, is because I just love watching when people take kickers. It's it's like one of my favorite things.
Even Hauschka in the 9th round.
Because my last pick is a kicker. I cannot be convinced to take one any earlier, ever. I don't care if it's a keeper league and I get you like add 2 rounds to where they are and you can get the guy in the last round. I just feel like I just can't. I can't. I would sacrifice that extra round on a keeper that I want to not take a kicker before the last round.
Yeah. Okay, so Alex, I got to wrap it up because I got to bail.
Right. Dion Lewis. Let's get back to Dion Lewis.
Right. So real quick, Dion Lewis, 4,200. We love him as a tournament play. He catches passes. He's been the future back. You might argue LeGarrette Blount, if they get up, is just going to take the rock. We don't know that, first of all. And second of all, if they get up, it's probably on the back of Dion Lewis, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's averaging 20 points a week right now. Like, you can't beat that. Like, he basically relegated Blount to the bench last week. And he's fumbled twice, and Belichick hasn't pulled him yet. Like, right. What did Jonas Gray and Stephen Ridley do to Belichick that they did what they did, and were like Jonas Gray? I know only did it one time, and it's like
you didn't ask him if he had a 2 players.
But Stephen Ridley was really good for an entire season, and all of a sudden he fumbles once, and he gets just nope, bye, get off my team, you're done. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Belichick's getting soft in his old age.
This is why I said I want to play him in a cash game, because right now everything is pointing towards Dion Lewis being the RB5 this year, a top 5 running back if he keeps this role, especially in PPR leagues. But it's Belichick's. I'm waiting for the 0. I'm just waiting.
It's coming. That's the thing. It is coming.
What if it doesn't? That's the scary thing. That's why I can't play him in cash. I have no problem playing him in a tournament, and if he kills one of my tournament lineups, whatever, I'll deal with it. But in cash, where I only usually put one lineup in, because I can't put my entire week on Dion Lewis. I just can't do it.
I totally agree.
He feels like a kicker to me right now, because but like,
don't tell him that. He might get upset.
It's just like he could drop a 0 on me. He could just drop a 0. Like, I spend the extra $200 on Danny Woodhead. You know he's getting the ball. Like, he might not have the same upside, but it is factual that Danny Woodhead will catch the ball, be in the red zone, get goal line touches. Like, he's gonna get the ball. Even if Dion Lewis has a better game, you're not risking the goose egg.
Right. So Dion Lewis, we love. I think you and I are in agreement with him. If he keeps the role, he's a top 5. But we don't love him enough to put him in a cash game. Or better put, we don't trust Belichick enough, right?
All right, real quick, before Pete goes, we're going to wrap it up real quick. But if you guys want to start asking some questions, Pete's going to leave. I'll answer a couple for like 10, 15 minutes. But we can wrap it up. I just wanted that to be said before you're gone, so I'm not just sitting here holding my D.
Of course. Yeah, that's, well, So, Alex, you're gonna stay broadcasting live, correct?
Yeah, for like about 10, 15 minutes.
Perfect. So if you guys have questions, you want them to send them to you on Twitter or via the YouTube channel?
Just if you're watching live, chat. If you're watching delayed, tweet me. Tweet me, Pete. Don't tweet Mark. Mark's on vacation.
Tweet Mark. Tell him how awesome.
Yeah, tweet Mark, because fuck it. Just tweet Mark. But me and Pete will actually answer your questions. Mark will be sending you photos of a beach or a pool or something. I don't even know.
Right. All right. Well, Alex, it's been a blast, man. I'll catch you over the weekend.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Stick around, answer some questions with Alex. Once again, I've been filling in for Mark. Next week, we'll be back to normal. Mark will be returned.
We are actually going to be going back to 10 o'clock again so that Pete can be on more shows. Hopefully Pete gets home by 10 o'clock every week, which is asking a lot, but we'll see.
I'm a busy man.
Very busy man.
All right. Take care, guys. Have fun, Alex, and I will catch you over the weekend.
I will. All right, first question. Thoughts on Bortles, Allen Robinson stack? Okay, so I actually made a lineup with that earlier today, and I love it. Like, I'm down. I do it. Bortles to A-Rob. I'm cool. Greg, if you can just get those questions for me, I don't really feel like scrolling and look like spending time scrolling. Thank you. Gronk and Edelman, yeah, they're safe. I don't like playing Patriots. I'm a Jets fan, but they're safe. I hate that they're safe, but they're safe. Edelman, I mean, he's way too expensive though now. Edelman, I think, is what, 7,000 on DraftKings. Let me just double check for you. Yeah, he was safe earlier in the season when he was 5,600, I think, or 66. Well, I guess it's not too big of a difference. He's kind of hitting value, but yeah, they're safe, but like I said, Bellatrix. So it always worries me. I'm always a little bit hesitant to play Patriots, but if you believe, go ahead. There's going to be a week where they shit the bed. I promise you that. They are going to shit the bed one week, and it's going to be a week where you don't think it's going to happen, and it could be this week. The trap game. They always have one or two of these trap games every single season, and I don't know. It scares me. So I'm okay with you wanting to play them in cash games. Personally, I won't because I'm always worried about those two trap games. Next question. Would you play Jamal Charles this week? From Greg. Yeah, but I'd rather play Marshawn at the same price, and I'd rather play Le'Veon for an extra 100. I think he gets a couple extra points catching passes out of the backfield, but Green Bay up early often. Alex Smith has to throw the ball. Next question. Jamal Stewart or Danny Woodhead? Yeah, not Jonathan Stewart. Like I said, love Woodhead. Woodhead's the man. Woodhead gets catches. Woodhead gets a lot of play in the red zone. So I would definitely pick Woodhead, cash and tournament. Cam or Wilson taking a mobile quarterback? Cam, just because they need him more. Because Stewart is basically non-existent right now. He's more the goal line back than Russell Wilson is. Like Cam Newton basically is Marshawn Lynch on the goal line for the Panthers. I would much rather play Cam. The matchups are both good for both of them. Next question, Jamal Charles and Marshawn Lynch. I already answered that. Marshawn Lynch. The Eddie Lacy James Stark issue. This is another issue. This is the same issue. I actually had this last week with Ivory. I kind of have to avoid it. I know it's a good matchup, and James Starks would just be a fantastic $3,000 play. We talked about this on Tuesday, but the fact that it's a Monday game and you have to ensure that you either can pay up for Lacy if he's healthy, or you have to play a third running. If you want to play a third running back, do it. That's absolutely your prerogative, and you can then change your flex into somebody like Richard Rodgers or Ty Montgomery that are also on the same team. But I'm personally avoiding it just because I don't want the headache, and we made a pretty good lineup. So AP or Le'Veon? Absolutely Le'Veon. No question about it. I think Pittsburgh's going to be up most of the game, and AP will not. Let me just double check who they are playing. Yeah, they're playing San Diego. I think San Diego takes the lead early. I would just rather play Le'Veon because we know what his upside is, and he's the focal point of that offense with a better offense around him. Jets defense this week. You can't ask me that question, Greg. You can't. I love the Jets this week. Love them. They're my team. I can't recommend, other than Marshall just because of situation, I can't recommend Jets most of the time unless it's just too obvious. So they're a great play. They're getting turnovers. Great tourney play. I would rather play the Broncos in cash just because I know Stafford's terrible and Philly is an enigma. So if you're asking for cash, probably go towards the Broncos. If you're going to do a tournament, go for the Jets deep. They sky high upside. They do. GPP flyer. Dorial Green Beckham or Aaron Dobson? Neither. Can I say neither? I'm going to go with neither. I'd rather you play like Teddy Ginn. Do that. That's better. Brady killing it. Would I still play him at his price? I don't want to. I think this is a week that New England just decides to run the ball and he doesn't throw it that often. I said it earlier, I believe. You can play him in a tournament if you want. I'm not playing him in cash this week, but yeah, he's killing it. He really is, and I hate saying it, but if you want to play him, play him. But I just have a feel about this game that it's either one of those trap games for New England or they're just going to run the ball and destroy. So, which tight end do I think is going to have the highest score besides Gronk? I don't know, dude. That's asking me to predict the future. Who do I think has the best chance of doing it? It's Travis Kelce. It's always Travis Kelce. He's got garbage time, fun time this week, so I'm gonna go with Kelce. GPP stack: Bortles, Robinson, or Foles, Cook, or Foles, Britt. That's tough. I mean, they're both cheap. Oh, that's a tough one. I think you would have to go with Foles with Cook because or Britt. It's up to you. They save you more money. They have I believe they have a higher team total on Vegas, which gives them a better. Vegas knows more than we do, so they have a better chance of returning their value, at least from a points perspective. And I think it's just an easier defense for them to play. I mean, Miami's still solid. No, they're playing New England. They're both garbage time. Sorry, I got them confused. I forgot that Miami wasn't playing Jacksonville again. Foles, Cook just for cheap if you really want to do it that way. But I think that Bortles and Robinson have the higher upside because Robinson's a freak. Deion Lewis still make value on catches? Yeah. He'll catch the ball. He'll run the ball. He's going to do a lot. But if he's playing, and the only reason I'm not playing him in cash is because of Bellatrix. He could put up a goose egg, like I said. So if he's playing and he's getting the touches, of course he's going to get catches. Absolutely going to get catches. So A-Rob or John Brown for a GPP? I would rather play A-Rob because of what Sammy Watkins did against New England. I don't think both number one receivers against New England this year have done very, very well against Malcolm Butler. So I would rather play Allen Robinson, who has less competition for targets than John Brown does. Eifert or Bennett? Bennett because they're going to be down, at least in a GPP. Bennett because they're going to be down garbage time. And I don't trust Dalton in divisional games yet. So that's tough. Fitzgerald or Watkins? Fitz. Definitely Fitz. Fitz is safer, and he has 3 touchdown upside with Carson Palmer, so I would rather do that. All right, I'm taking 2 more questions. Foles or Mallet? Foles, no question. That's a terrible question. I'm sorry. The Mallet is terrible. He threw 60 balls last week, and I don't even think he had – what did he have, like 15 points, 1 touchdown? I will look that up just for you. Brian Mallet had – oh, he had 19 points. All right, so – but he threw the ball 58 times. They're not going to need to throw the ball 58 times against the Buccaneers. So I would much rather play Foles. I like Mallet, but especially if DeAndre Hopkins is out, no thank you. Just waiting on one more question, and then we're going to wrap it up. Give you like a second. Last question. Le'Veon Bell going to split carries this week. What do you think? All right, I'll answer 2 more. No. Maybe 1 goal line carry, but Le'Veon's been waiting for this. He is their guy. He is going to play when he is available. So it is Le'Veon. GPP flex, Dunbar, Cecil shorts. Dunbar. Definitely Dunbar. I think they're going to be down. Dunbar is going to be on the field more. Whedon's going to need his check down against Atlanta. I think Atlanta's defense is really good. Dan Quinn has from a talent perspective, they're not that great, but from a scheme perspective with Dan Quinn, they are outstanding, and they're going to be just feasting on Whedon early. He's going to do checkdowns all game. I could see him getting eight catches. So for GPP, I like it. Ebron or Cook? Ebron. The only reason we took Cook in cash is because we wanted Luck over Carson. But Ebron is just better. I don't like Cook, but he just happens to be the leading receiver, and he'll get his a little bit, but I think Ebron's just a better overall talent in a somehow better offense. All right, guys, that's it. We will see you on Tuesday. Mark will be back. Hopefully, it'll be all 3 of us. Good luck on week 3, and we will see you again for week 4. Take it easy, guys.